Hi, my name is Cody Wilkinson, and I would like to tell you my story. I moved to Ponoka about 6 years ago. I was so lost and was at a point that I just completely rejected anything to do with God. During this time, my parents were into hard drugs such as crack. When I was 13 years old, my father got in a major car accident resulting from drug use that left him with permanent brain damage. My brothers and myself, the youngest, all lived in what used to be our home, but it turned into just a place to survive. My mom was always gone, trying to get the next hit. My brothers and I struggled very hard to get through this situation with as little problems as possible. But because of the gravity of the situation, a lot of anger rose in all three of us. We were always getting into fights. Our family was completely broken. The summer of my dad's accident, my mom was sent to a rehabilitation center in Calgary to get cleaned up. That summer, my brother and I got placed under social services and ended up in a group home in Ponoka, which was probably one of the worst things that could have happened. I made a lot of mistakes and sinned way more than any 14-year-old boy should even know how to do. I had a lot of built-up anger and frustration from my family and would take it out on people non-deserving of it by yelling at them or other horrible ways I regret. I also got involved in a relationship at this time that filled my life with many regrets. I was in the group home for 6 months, then I got moved to a foster home in town. The foster family was really nice, so that was an upside to my life so far. Right after I was put into the foster home, I met a friend whom today I can proudly call my brother. One day he and I were talking at the table and joking around, I said, "Wouldn't it be cool if your parents adopted me?" At the end of November that same year, I moved out of the foster home and into their home. I lived with their family for about 7 months, and in May, I was officially adopted. It made me feel so good that someone wanted me as a part of their family. They chose me instead of just having me. Even though my life was finally starting to turn around, I still had a lot of issues. I was hurting myself and cutting and suffered from severe depression. I was so depressed that I also had a lot of trust issues and a lot of social issues as well. It was hard for me to make friends because I couldn't trust anyone anymore after all I had faced with my family. Every couple of weeks I would spend my night absolutely bawling. I mean crying my heart out completely until I had no tears available to cry. During these times, I would also cry out to God even though I was absolutely convinced He wasn't there. Something in me was pulling me towards Him. I would cry out with complete sincerity, "God, if you're there, please just give me a sign. Give me some sort of sign, God, that you are here." When I was 16, my new family helped me get a job. It was through this that I met someone who became an extremely important friend in my life. After about 6 months of working there, my friend told me about a trip she had gone on a couple times to Youth Unlimited. It was a missions trip to Vancouver. She had told me that she felt strongly that I should go on this trip, but I'd always veer away from the idea because I didn't want anything to do with God at the time. She finally convinced me to go, although just as a social justice trip. I wanted to help out the homeless. This trip was the defining moment of my life, and it changed me forever. Every single moment of that trip was a slap in the face to show me where I should be and what I should be doing in my life. Every hour on the trip, God showed me a different beauty and wonder of His, and it became overwhelming. During the worship on the trip, I recognized that I was missing out on something huge. I sang a song for our team that really was a cry out to God. After, I realized it wasn't a song to sing for the people around me. It was a prayer, a plea to God to come and save my life. Needless to say, the bus ride home the next day, I became a Christian and prayed the prayer of salvation. This was such an amazing experience because I knew that, just as my new family had adopted me, God the Father had adopted me into His family as well.